Today, we're going to take a look at some of the best prototypes that the FRC Rebuilt community has come up with for different intakes, climbs, and outtake designs so that you can get a better direction for your robot this season. Because I think it's a pretty successful design. I'm Coach Pratt, and I've been teaching robotics design for over a decade now. And one of the best ways to improve your own robot design is by taking a look at what other people have had to sort of help spark your own creative inspiration. First up here, we've got FRC Robotics talking about their different intakes. And they've got a over-the-bumper compliant wheel intake. I mean, so overall, pretty successful intake by feeding in a couple fuels. It grabs it, it owns it. It's pretty successful as soon as it touches it, is able to bring it in. Something that's interesting here is that what a lot of teams are seeing and finding is that you don't need to have some sort of ramp or additional roller underneath if you don't need it on these intakes. And a lot of them are able to pick up a lot of these fuels just fine. One thing that I think is going to be interesting to look at is for these teams that are using a flat bumper that it's running directly into, does this allow you to have a higher throughput? Because we do notice that ball does stop a little bit before, and if it does that little pause, that little hang before it's able to pick itself and up into your hopper or your indexer, you might run into some flow issues in that respect. And testing exactly what it is that I just showed, they've got a high enough RPM here that it doesn't seem to be affecting their flow points. There are a couple that seem to have that, but it looks more like they're actually just being kicked out because they're a cardboard box. But it's great to be able to test some high flow scenarios. Next up, we've got FRC 5987, and they're talking about a single roller intake prototype. And I like these single bar rollers that they're going to take this robot and then they're just going to push it into a whole bunch of fuel all at once. And I really like this as a starting point because I think it's a pretty successful design. It's able to pick up a ton of fuel in a very short period of time. And having such a long, wide, slightly compliant roller seems to be, at least to me on some of these early videos, one of the more successful intakes, particularly because it's wide and it's able to get such a high throughput. So nice job on that one with your cardboard prototyping tools there, 5987. We've also got a similar idea here from team 694. In that, again, they've got somebody riding on top of the robot. They're driving with a drill. This may be questionable safety practices, I would say, at the front. You might want to walk along the side with that drill. But they're clearly having a little bit of fun, and we can see just how successful that is. They've got a slightly angled ramp to be able to get themselves slightly more. So nice job on that, 694. And then last up here, we've got Team Littleton Robotics, 6328, also showing off their intake prototype. One of those things as well, they are getting around that flat bar point, but they have a secondary black bar down in the bottom here that is probably rolling in the opposite direction, so that as they come in off this compliant wheel, they're able to start picking themselves up vertically as well right away. Pretty successful. Just have a quick little Omni wheel chassis here to be able to set those things out. I love seeing some testing and prototyping chassis from teams going out. And next up, we've got a home team here from the Netherlands. This is team 4481, what they're effectively calling the washing machine with brushes and spinning floor. They've got a bunch of different tests going on inside of the design. It is really cool to see. And they've got basically a spinning indexer running down from the bottom with a large compliant wheel kicking itself out. They weren't actually ready to go here. And now you'll see just the throughput coming through. Love seeing cardboard prototypes. And then they're just checking, does this fuel have enough gravity to be able to pick itself up and around? How do these things get stuck? It looks like they actually may have broken off or sheared off the end of their wrench, their drill there. Not a great place, but looking at their washing machine, there's lots of different ways that you can move a ball around. I think what's really important the teams are going to focus on this season with that large hopper, you need some way of not just allowing gravity to feed everything down, but forcefully pushing these fuel into your outtake. We've got a few tests coming up here from Littleton Robotics again. They've got this cool little oval indexer here. We can see it pause at the start here. Oh. They have what looks like some omnidirectional wheels coming around. They're effectively calling this one a bit of an oval indexer. So the idea is that it's able to kick itself up and around, or I think it's the other way around, this way, and then into their outtake as well. So quite a high throughput on that one as well for kicking a couple different compliant wheels and then a couple different larger mechanism wheels here. We can see the higher throughput they've got in the same idea. They have set up a quick plywood prototype here so they can drag in some fuel and move it around. Again, like I was saying earlier, you can see that these fuel like to get a little bit hung up on each other as they're just coming in on gravity. So jostling around might be a thing. And perhaps as a robot's driving around and as it's jostling, this doesn't actually end up being such a big of an issue. I'd be curious to see teams simulating this on a chassis as it's driving around on the field to see if that actually does affect things or not. I want to show off another indexer here from FRC iBots, which is 2370. They've got, again, another rotating thing here. I love seeing drills setting this up, a nice little curved section. And I just want to show off the different ways that you can have rotational indexers that seem to be able to force these balls out. And there's a lot of different materials you can have. It looks to me like having some additional setups here on the edge ends up maybe doing a little more harm than good. It's possible that these were stopping them from coming in, but having flat sections might not be a useful tool to be able to actually funnel these things in. So that funneling principle, I think, is going to be really critical this season. We've also got Littleton Robotics again here. They've got a lot of different things showing up here. Just another way of indexing. Looks like similar to the 2017 season. Having belts as a way of moving your fuel around inside your robot is, again, a totally viable strategy for getting things up and going. And the last indexer here, I've got FRC 8584. So I think they've got a really interesting material setting up for transporting their ball around. They've got some polycarb set up with just some zip ties, cable ties, zap straps, whatever it is you want to call them. And we'll see if we can't get that little pause. Looks like they've just got a little boot kicker here. I've also seen teams use folded over sections of rubber. I think that's a really successful way of moving these things around, as well as getting them into your outtake rather quickly. Next up, it's time to start talking about a little bit of drivetrain practice here. We've got Team 4561 Terabytes Robotics. And as they are moving themselves up and over the bump, they end up beaching themselves on quite a bit of fuel. I think that this is something that more teams than not might end up running into a problem on this season. And having some way of being able to clear that fuel or not running up on top of it, having some sort of belly plates, slick belly plates, something along those lines that you're able to keep moving around might be a problem that teams are running into, particularly with, as we're seeing with some of these swerve drive designs, you really got to send it to get up and over that bump, and it's something to consider as you're moving along. Next up here, we've got an outtake. Not really focusing so much on the outtake design here as it is more with Farmersville's Robotics 8749 and the way that they are actually setting their outtake up to be able to move. I like seeing it being held together with some clamps. And the reason I'm saying that at the moment is because I think that it really does support that rapid prototyping methodology. A lot of teams will spend an awful lot of time machining something, making sure that it works. Bit of a sidebar, they've spent an awful time machining, be able to cut out all these cool looking slits and so on. May not be necessary at this point. Maybe they already had these parts kicking around at the shop. But in terms of the rapid prototyping ethos, I think it's really important to make minimal viable prototypes. Make the smallest product you can that is capable of solving a design challenge and then move on from there. The amount of time that it takes you to be able to pattern in, cut these things out, machine these things out by adding in a lot of different flair for reducing weight, increasing strength in certain areas might not be necessary at this stage and actually might just be slowing down your prototyping process. But on the flip side, using some of these DeWalt clamps or these quick clamps are a great way of holding things together quickly just to test that an idea does indeed work. So I like seeing some of this for the rapid prototyping, particularly things like cardboard, particularly things like wood. I want to see more teams embracing that, particularly in this week 1, week 2 stage where we're not so far into the competition that you really need to start having things that are fully flushed out at this point. Although we should be getting pretty close to some more flushed out ideas moving into the next week. And last tip here, let's take a look at some different climbing prototypes. We've got Team Hammerheads 5000, and they've got what looks like a pretty similar concept to some of the teams that were doing in the FTC Into the Deep season back in the day, where they got a couple hooks here running on what looks like linear rails, and it simply lifts itself up and then pulls it by itself back down. I like their way of using this little bit of foam as a potential way of using their bumper, and they're resting against the support here to be able to lift themselves up for a pretty successful level 1 hang. And it also looks like this level 1 hang would be capable of bringing themselves back down later so they can get that level 1 hang in autonomous. So they'll like get those 15 points in autonomous and also an additional 10 points in the teleop phase as well. So really good job on this one, Team Hammerhead's 5,000. Now we've also got another hang prototype that I want to show off here from the Georgia Tech Robot in 3 Days team. And they've got a simple chain drive to be able to get this thing up and running. So we should be able to get a little more up and close personal with it here. It looks like they've got one claw holding on here, and then they have another passive claw. Oh, I would imagine at some point that's going to be passive claw that might have a fold down mechanism. So as it lifts up, it's able to sort of pass up and through as that climb mechanism goes on. So you can see that it's got some of those bones set up to be able to do something along these lines. Looks like they probably haven't set those up, or they probably haven't programmed that to do that in such a way, but to be able to do a little bit of extra ratcheting. And it looks like they might not even be doing a passive claw there. This might actually be on a like a linear slide that is able to move itself up and down, or a rack and pinion system. And that seems to be what's holding their robot in place. So some really cool prototyping. I think taking a look at this is also a great way of how you might achieve one of these climbs. I believe there's another team, the Monkey, that we looked at last week. That was also a similar robot to take a look at. And last up, we've got the Robonauts Everybot, of course. And I think they have also another interesting climb prototype here that I would like to take a quick look at as well, just to show how teams might accomplish some of these things. So let's pull ourselves up and around so we can get a look at this a little bit better. So they have a simple level 2 claw here, and similar to what the Penn State team has done, they've done a virtual 4-bar lift here using some set of chains to be able to lift and pivot themselves up and around onto that. Now, I believe at this point, because their bumpers are fully above their first rung, that would count as a level 2 hang at this point in time. So it's a worthwhile design to go take a look at to help doing some prototyping on your own robot. If you have a prototype or a piece that you think would be interesting to share out with the community, you can consider submitting that in the FRC Saturdays submission form down below. If you're looking for some more robotics resources, things like extended tutorials, CAD profiles, things like that, you can consider joining my community. And as always, best of luck out there this season.